Hello there everyone and welcome back. Well, this is a result I was not expecting when I decided to dive into Necrons. Hell, you even remember me saying on my Monday video how I was considering withholding my time with Necrons for the kind of new ship being updated. Well, guess what just happened there on Thursday? Was it yesterday? I'm pretty certain it was yesterday. Either way, we got ourselves a brand new Grand Cruiser on top of a handful of other ships here. Needless to say, so this is going to be a little bit different than trying to play a more competent, serious type fleet, and we're going to be using this as an opportunity to play test with a couple of these new ships and try and see what they're capable of, put them to the test as it were. Although, due to the chaos of all these new ships and all the other mechanical changes they just did without a beta type server or beta version of the game to actually play test it ahead of time, I think I'm actually going to extend, or at least delay, the guide video as had in mind with Necrons until next week. But the plus side is, it gives us more time to play with Necron, and maybe I'll throw in a free-for-all type of, free ball it a little bit with some of the other factions over next week, if I feel like I've done everything I need to do with Necrons. So, Lance type Imperial Navy fleet might be on the chopping board, or at least I'll be on display there. I'm really interested to see how that performs with several matches in a row, mind you. Mind you, I have played with it in this Twitch stream, but we'll leave that open for later on. But for now, let's have a look at what these ships are actually capable of. First up, the most obvious difference you see here is the Scourge. What makes it unique? Well, aside from the fact it doesn't look like a stick anymore compared to the Scythe, although it is a lot of reused models, I want to argue. For I'm pretty certain these are part of the Shroud type light cruisers. I'm just going to call them Shrouds because that's the one I remember most. And they threw in a bunch of other components. Nothing really original it seems like, but I ultimately do like the design there. It almost seems like it narrows as opposed to just being a simple block stick compared to the other Scythes. Only criticism I don't like of the ship's design anyway is how thin and narrow this little portion is here, this little third crescent. But otherwise I like the look of it ultimately. It is actually a carrier ship too, 4 launch bays, which includes a 5th one when you consider the original Doomsday fighter ability that you have access to right off the bat. And if I remember correctly, yeah, these also launch 7 fighters if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, 7 fighters. A little bit of a... They didn't space out the phrase there for how many fighters are in a squadron, but the reason this is important to note is, technically, I want to say this has almost 6 fighter squadrons since almost all the other factions only utilize 6 fighters for their squads. Hell, Tyranids were the only ones that kind of broke that rule before the live release in that I think they had 8 fighter squadrons. In this case, this makes it a lot more powerful than it seems at a glance. The obvious problem, of course, is it's a bunch of fighters and no real bombers. Even though they technically do still hull damage while shooting down the point defense as a bonus, when you consider the raw firepower the other Necron ships have to offer, it can be a little bit tricky, but we're going to try it out nonetheless. And then I think for my second match, I'm going to experiment with the Ruiner. And why the Ruiner? Well, simply put, it's reliant entirely on the particle whip. There's 4 particle whips on this thing and almost no lightning arcs on it. So technically, we have a weapon that's we have a ship rather that's main weaponry is 1,000 or 13,500 unit range, so this thing can actually fight at a longer distance as opposed to the rest of the fleet. Going to be a little bit awkward since almost all these stances don't really synergize with the particle whip at all. The dispersed lightning arc only works, as the name suggests, with the lightning arc. Reload does not actually reduce its rate of fire, I'm pretty certain. So we're kind of restricted on what stances actually benefit this damn ship. That's the main issue I'm going to have there, but nonetheless, I'm interested in fielding this Ruiner to see if there's possibility of a heavy lance type fleet. Because hey, we've seen 3 battlecruiser fleets before, so why not 3 Ruiners, mind you. It is possible. I don't know how comfortable I feel with it, but I think it's worth trying out. So that is what we're going to be doing for this video. Showcase the new fleets, and hopefully we don't face off against some mirror matches, because you know that's going to ruin the moment. That's going to ruin the mood instantly with the Scourges because of the Star Pulse generator. Alright, Chaos. Let's see how this goes. Thankfully, It's not Necrons for. I did have that trying to do this recording, and I immediately conceded, since I don't think that's what anyone wants to watch, especially if they happen to be using tomb ships there to immediately destroy my fighters. That would make for an awkward time here, I would think. We'll see how this goes regardless. It should be pretty good, but at the same time, I don't know what they're feeling. Only thing I'm a little bit wary of is the dang frigates here with their low health. I have 2 Dirches as opposed to the Jackals. Might make things a little bit complicated, although they did finally change the Silent Rhine to be at least on the last of the stance keys, so that makes things a little bit convenient, but nonetheless, let's see. I just, again, don't know what I want, since I don't think reload even helps with my fighters, never mind the mechanic that they have. That makes it so I can't launch multiple fighter squadrons until the previous one returns back to the fleet or is completely destroyed. A little bit of an inconvenience there, to say the least, if only slightly. Although, due to the capture increased speed, given to anything above light cruiser, I can at least grab some objectives relatively well, or really damn quickly. Just gotta be mindful though that the frigates kind of been nerfed heavily in that regard, and that they only capture the objective at half the speed. So it might be a bit problematic. Otherwise, what I will want. I like to do damage potential, but I don't know how effective that is, especially since I'm kind of moving away from the pyramidical reconstruction, which I don't think I like a whole lot, not having that. We will see. Do I want the Thunderbolt? That's hard to say, because they're likely going to be running away from me, and I don't think I could get a Lightning Arc the best. Is this what I want? I don't know what to honestly expect. I'm just hoping to give a good kind of match, and I don't know, again, what kind of upgrades I want either, which makes it even more awkward. Since I'm relying more on fighters and not so much anything else, or not so much... Yeah, pretty much it's the fighters supposedly doing work. And of course... What is it? Yeah, the star. I didn't show the light cruisers just yet. The Skekums, they have weaker. Lightning arcs, mind you. They're like half the damage of a normal lightning arc, but they also have the Star Pulse Wave, which I'm going to use for defensive measures. Ideally, it's going to be terrible against Chaos for that reason, since they're very limited in their torpedoes and all that good stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be using them very much defensively, unless somehow I'm able to destroy plasma bombs or something like that. Also to note, the rotation speed and movement speed on this thing. It's 180 as opposed to 160 and 200 from all the other factions and all the other ships in the game. So this is almost exactly this is pretty much in between a Scythe cruiser and the tomb ship for mobility's sake. So it's going to be interesting to see how that fares, if that's like the sweet spot I want for dodging Novacans ideally. Since we've seen that the tomb ship's horrible at it, the Scythes can dodge them, but you need to be right on top of it. As soon as you see the Novacans, you need to take evasive maneuvers. And we'll see if the Scourge can deal with that. In all honesty, did I want the Scarab Swarm? I'm not entirely certain. I was thinking a little bit on using this maybe as a way to regenerate health, mind you, against Adeptus Mechanicus. That's something I didn't get to put into practice when I did go up against Mechanicus, though. But I am genuinely interested to see how that works. Oh, and these are slaughters, without a doubt. So let's spot these then. And actually with Silent Running, they'll be pretty good there too. I'm just going to hold fire for good measure. I would like the Shrouds with their extended sensors, but they're slaughters. They are definitely slaughters. This is going to make things a little bit awkward, isn't it? They're also probably armor piercing, if I were to be honest. But at least if it's going to be a close range fleet, that works to my advantage some. But now it's time to stop holding fire. And start doing damage here. Because we're going to regenerate this health. We do. No, we're not dealing with armor-piercing ammo. That's a big thing to note. And I think we go Disperse Lightning Arc. Normally, I hate this ability because due to the 9,000 unit range, it's not realistic to actually be able to hit multiple targets with this thing, especially with a longer range type of engagement. But in this case, it might be a noteworthy exception. Although, I got my group orders all set up, and I don't like it one bit. My engines are down. I'm not going to be able to jump out in time, but I am regenerating health. Can I at least jump? Actually, let me jump, see if I can jump something out of the way to take these hits. Yeah, the group order is still in effect, damn it. It's ruining my movement some. Even with this one frigate, which is annoying. So I won't be able to jump anytime soon, but I have star pulse generators. I can board this really damn well. And I have the armor to kind of ram. And I'm regenerating health, and this is working well to kind of soak the damage. I just gotta be thankful of not having deal with armor-piercing ammo just yet. But this is part of the problem I'm talking about. I have to wait till my damn fighters come back, which I saw for certain I sent the Scourges of weapons, or fighters to attack separate targets, mind you. Was that a good idea to change out here? Because this is the priority right now. Everyone wants to beat up on this poor little thing. Let's launch fighters. I still have dispersed lightning arc on everything, so that's good there. And I'm going to be able to regenerate or use this cloud soon enough. I think it's safe to say this is not really the kind of match I was expecting to have, but now I gotta wait for the dang deck to repair. That's the one thing I gotta watch like a hawk. Is this gonna regenerate in time for me to utilize it? I somehow suspect it won't, since I have to wait a full minute after all. But Scourge is killing things. Since after all, you can board. Let's put good use of that. I'm watching for you. Well, let's kill the crew of this dang thing. My opponent's just doing kamikaze route, and it's working out well. Come on. I'm still waiting. Why you no repair? We're getting good use out of that, but come on. I don't even have my engines currently because it's permanently destroyed. But I think we won the... Oh god, about damn time. 17 seconds till I could get the hull cauterization all set up, but still. Time to panic. Time to panic and kill off the rest of these ships. And see where this goes. You know, you could just self-destruct the thing. Thank you. Just as I have the means to kind of jump on out. Almost. Oh, you're fleeing too, so that's a little inconvenient. But they're mutinying. Not quite the match I was expecting to have, but I'll take it. That probably was really damn useful to disperse lightning arc, but again, keep in mind, it only has 9,000 range. It's a lot of the reason why I didn't use it for my other two matches, since you need to get really close if you want to reliably hit multiple ships. In this case, this is a noteworthy exception, since my opponent is actively trying to get in my face some. But now that there's nothing left, basically, I think I can warrant going single target now. So there. You got to see in action, and again, I probably would have lost that due to if my opponent had armor-piercing ammo. I'm not oblivious to that fact. Although, I probably would have been a lot more resilient if I had not swapped out the stances and kept the hull shift up for my flagship that they were fixating on. Not quite the display I would have wanted for the fighters, but due to the fact we have no lightning, particle whips to kind of pierce their armor and just raw firepower, this is damn effective. Since the battle cruiser, and I think even the cruiser, just has more macro weaponry than this thing, which is supposedly a grand cruiser for comparison's sake. The only problem is the objective still, but this will be over momentarily. I've kind of been neglecting my frigates. I should have had them probably capping points. They still can, technically.
The enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
Just gotta kill this. Just gotta kill this. Oh, I guess they sent me an invite or something there, if I had to guess. This was my opponent for the warm-up game, I believe, but I believe he was using Necron, which was a little bit de-emphasizing the issue I've been having, since Necron were the big hype, the big thing in the patch notes. Everyone wants to play Necron. Nonetheless, let's clean up this mess maybe. That is something that needs to be changed as far as the fighters. I feel like so much of my firepower is just lackluster, non-existent pretty much. So when I have my Doom Scythes just floating there at a destroyed cruiser for like a minute, it's a little bit inconvenient. I think it would encourage. This is a good incentive maybe to be able to give your fighters and bombers more control. Being able to at least recall them, I think would help a ton in this regard. But nonetheless, let's just clean up. Actually, I do have point advantage. I just gotta get rid of these frigates. And let's see, I'm fully health regened. I want to kind of go reload, but actually I could jump. Let me at least start moving and grab these points.
You have accumulated 75%.
We still have to win after all, and I don't care about that point being neutralized. We're about to hopefully grab 3 of them. And also, I have reload, so let's fix that. This was supposed to be my defensive ship, so that way my Scourges are able to go aggressive with their fighters. Unfortunately, when they're getting super aggressive like that, I think that's a good demonstration on how my damage is very lackluster, very limited due to the fact they won't immediately come back once the ship's destroyed. So there's a lot to be decided there, I believe. It definitely is the antithesis. It's the main threat I have to go up against, mind you. I seriously would have lost that just because of armor-piercing ammo. Maybe I could have done things a little bit differently, like I didn't realize both my Grand Cruisers, both my Scourges were actually attacking the same cruise ship. That might have helped a little bit to spread them out. Since, as we've seen, once they die super quickly, super effectively, that doesn't do us much favors when they're just floating there. So, with the current situation, with the way the fighters currently are, I'm probably going to have to spread them out a tiny bit more. But I'm interested to see what the Lance fleet's looking like. Alright, Necron mirror match. I'm actually willing to go with this to an extent, although I worry this may be a very slow and not unexciting match, perhaps. While the Lance is going to be really good against Necron due to their heavy armor, I don't know what much else there is to really do. Like I said before, my stances are pretty restricted aside to maybe my inertialist drive, since they don't actually affect the reload of my lances like they do with the lightning arcs. As you can see there, 9-second reload time. Still 10 seconds for the particle whip. It's still good damage though. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Let's see, I think it was 6 lightning arcs before and 2 particle whips. So when you consider arm piercing this and ignore shields, this is comparable. Never mind the extended range. As far as firepower, I want to say. Hard to know for certain, but I like the potential of it. It's just, it feels like it might be really slow doing damage. I had a bunch of weird matches, never mind the fact I have been conceding a number of battles against Necron mirror matches, especially with the Scourge fleet, because that is not the kind of matchup you want, in all honesty. It's been a rough day, I want to argue at least. Actually, let me have at least one Jackal over there. I don't need both there, but with the way deployment zone is, it's really a little inconvenient. Do I go with Lightning Link? I want the reconstruction for main reasons. It's a question if I want to do a lot of damage over time or just kill things immediately. And I don't care about morale, but I realize the structural analyzer doesn't work with lightning arc, or the particle whip, so I'm not going with that. We'll go with the unstable core. I'm assuming that'll be good. It's the one time I'm not using Tesseract Crypt because, again, my stances are very restricted size for the reactive hull. So this is the pure macro weaponry, which works well for me in that regard. And I'm trying to pay attention. Those just jumped, but I have no idea what they are, alas, so it's anybody's guess there what to expect. But I can easily capture this point with the Jackal, grab these 2 points, and So long as I have vision of those ships, I should be in
The
good
enemy
shape
has
for just
seized a
doing
strategic
better
area.
damage. Again, 83 armor, these lances are going to be really good in this regard. And I have an empowered star pulse generator.
The enemy has
I'm not
seized
seeing
a
any scourges or
strategic
anything of the
area.
like just yet, though. Not yet. Nonetheless, there'll be a little bit of downtime here until we get to vision, get to spotting, and does holding fire really matter? It does if I want to mark and reveal the dang frigates, which are actually going to be really good to snipe down just for that alone. They have lower health, armor piercing potential to help kill them relatively quickly, so I don't think it's an issue whatsoever.
You have seized a strategic area.
And then, let's see, keep an eye out for frigates. I'm not using the mark. I'm not going to fall for that bait yet. I'm going to see about revealing our... Well, I want to reveal our friend there, which we have means to, actually. Actually, I see it right there, so fire on it. I have the range advantage. These fires are about to reveal them. And I would like to fire the trans-dimensional bolt. It's not going to happen, though. And I don't know if I'm actually in range yet or not. Nope, I'm not in range. A little bit off. Oh, poor fella with the Scourge.
You have seized a strategic area.
That's a little inconvenient. This might be a bit of a mismatch, to be honest. I could destroy those things immediately, and it's no contest whatsoever. So, Scourge is all but useless with 3 star pulse generators.
The enemy has
And what do we have
seized a
otherwise?
strategic
Another
area.
Harrower, so a lot of macro cannons. And a lot of scythes, interestingly. Why aren't you moving? Oh, burn retros. So you're not even doing the dispersed lightning arc right yet, so I don't think I need to worry at the moment. I'm just gonna hang on to my star pulse generator for now, though. Since the Scourge is gonna be doing noteworthy damage at some point. Actually, let's deny him from jumping and protecting their ships. I don't care much about you, but I have to watch for the fighters coming out for a star pulse generator. Since that's gonna get focused down. Dang it, it still needs to be repaired. I rushed the energy, but since it didn't want to show me the cooldown, it's a little inconvenient. We're still good though. That burnt down a big cooldown. Alas, my flagship apparently took a crap ton of damage too. Yeah, and they're just doing reload too, so okay. And I missed with the star pulse generator. That is inconvenient. And really, the deck's been destroyed. So I can't regenerate my health. This is not going well for me, is it now? As far as doing damage. And those things are going to slowly kill off my ship, too. Because I missed the star pulse generator. So maybe I was wrong about the Lance fleet. But that will start changing relatively quickly. I just gotta let this actually get some protection in. Alright, that's dead. I have fighter bays. Let's try and strengthen the crew complement a little bit here. I'm gonna have to reactivate the ship in a moment. It's gonna take some critical hits, but I'll lie for a time being. Jeez, apparently the lances are really bad. I thought there was promise for this fleet. Maybe I was wrong. And with my decks being destroyed, I can't really do a whole lot either, alas.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic.
At least finally we got rid of the dang Doom Scythes, which, of course, that miss did not do me any favors, mind you. Okay, repair the ship. Hell, just have them all repair their health. That's going to be the most important thing right now. And actually, I left the frigate over there too, so that's a little inconvenient. Because now it's not regenerating its health as a result of that. Hell, it wasn't regenerating health anyway. Am I even doing any critical hit damage? They don't even have the ability to do double damage or double critical hit chance against with the mark, the scanner pulse, so it seems like all my decks were destroyed, and I don't think I'm doing anything of note to theirs. I was kind of hoping to... I really should have prioritized the weapons, I guess. Is what I'm starting to learn here. Since now the flagship's down, that doesn't help me. I'm kind of out... I'm doomed to lose this, it seems like now. Today has not been a good day, I guess. With all the Necron fleets, Scourge, of course, being threatened because of that. I should have really prioritized the weapons. I was kind of worried about them running and just, and an engine just immediately got destroyed there too, I think. So now there's nothing I could do with this. I could destroy it. We'll see if that helps. It'll at least kill off one of the ships there. We'll see. We will see what kind of damage that does here. Because we have a Drifting Hulk, although please don't jump in that. Really? It did it seriously get destroyed by that? I thought it was going to self-destruct. Maybe I'm wrong. And that cost me there. Although, it will help when I'm not facing off against other Necron fleets. I'm a little bit shocked that, well, again, I don't think I was getting the engine critical hits I wanted, and I don't even think it actually did anything for me. I just lost my deck mostly, which actually could have been good to have the Tesseract Crypt, mind you. It would have allowed me to at least keep my repair up. So, the one time I think the reactive hull having stances was lackluster, it probably cost me the match there some. Just not having the additional health regen. Who would have thought? An arc propagator could have been useful long term, although in all seriousness, if my opponent had the dispersed lightning arc, it probably would have still been a very devastating effect for me. I would have had a really rough time, I think, considering the sheer amount of splash damage that could have been done there. Hard to honestly say. But as you can see, this is kind of what I meant a little bit with this not being the most exciting type of matchup here, since we're just standing there and just tanking each other's shots, alas. Nonetheless, I think I'm ready to put this damn fleet behind me, for now at least. Since apparently it was a big failure with... But again, now I'm actually getting engine critical hits here. 2 permanent destructions, but with the repair effect that's short-lived. That is damn short-lived. Ah, well. I don't know what to say there, but I am extending my time with the Necron fleet an extra week to try and refine things some. It's exciting times nonetheless for Necron with the new ships and the toys. They're gonna get screwed over horribly by Adeptus Mechanicus, which shocks me that we're not even encountering a single Adeptus fleet during this entire time. They would be having a field day with all these Necron fleets they have to go up against. Alright, this is something that could actually be fun, to an extent. I'm using the Scourge fleet again there, and this would be a good test, I suppose, to see how the fighters can do. Mind you, if I just recklessly go and launch all my fighters on all their ships when they're grouped together, it's probably still going to go badly for me, but at least we should have ourselves a good time. All the Necron fleets I tried with the Lance fleet have just been slow and I would argue very uninteresting uninteresting matches, but I at least showed you the one there with the Lance fleet, and good god. Maybe I was wrong with the potential of the Lance fleet to a limited extent, but it simply could have came down to me just prioritizing my components wrong, maybe? I don't know. They have more critical hit chances after all with the lightning arcs due to having more shots, and it actually synergizes with the designator. Was it did structural analyzers, so that may have been what screwed me over in drawn out fights, especially with the Necron mirror matches. It doesn't bode well for that fleet. So I'm willing to go back to it once things settle down. I just don't know how it would fare against those other type of matchups, mind you. You think it would be pretty good. Since I always ignore shields, it means I have chances of crippling the ships immediately, right away, and I don't even want to deploy over here with that said. Not quite. I do want to have a ship over to the capture point nonetheless. So we'll have at least one frigate do that, and the other one, the other Dirge, is going to spot. Do I even care about the extra health? And there's no gas cloud I don't think I can effectively use. What on earth do I use, aside for increased range on the bridge, which, if I'm not destroying their generators, doesn't help me. I don't know what would be good. Nightmare Shroud would probably be the best I could think of. It is spur of the moment. I don't really... This video has basically been my first real test of the Devil Scourge fleet, mind you. So I haven't had a lot of time to really know what its weak flaws are ahead of time. So this is as raw as you could kind of get. The Lance fleet, not so much, but due to awkwardness of face-off against our Necrons, it's a little tricky to do. I kind of know what I'm up against here, sort of, with 5 ships, but I need to see it to believe it, I suppose. At least then I can start prioritizing my targets. I am interested in seeing what these fighters can do, though. And I do have 2 Star Pulse waves to help deal with torpedoes. They're just badly positioned, aren't they? Also, with that said, let's actually have reload if I have an upgrade for it. And we'll see where it goes from there, to an extent. And we have shipping back now, interestingly enough. They were all in a row. I wonder what changed. I wonder what changed to prompt them to have potentially the flagship hiding behind. So we have one dictator, that's fine. I can easily blow that up with a Star Pulse. I could blow them both up with a Star Pulse. Are those both coming from the objective over there? Interesting. So we have like 2 Defiants. Okay, so why can't I use this? Someone explain to me why my Star Pulse isn't working. This was a perfect opportunity to shoot them down too, and I'm not getting it. This is really weird. I gotta watch for what's causing this, or when they become available, because this is weird. Is there some mechanic that starts a cooldown at the start of the match that I don't know of? Okay, I could just easily jump. I'm fine with that. Let's just spread out our fleets with that said. I was kind of hoping to turn faster, but they don't see me, so it doesn't... They're left wondering. Oh, there was 2 of them, apparently. I can regenerate that health. It'll take some time, but I can regenerate that health. Oh, and you're just I thought you were safe at first. Now you're just conveniently turned right into the Novacan. This is... I might as well jump, because why not?
The enemy has seized a strategic
So we're dealing with Novacans, but I can regenerate that. It's just a matter of not getting screwed over by it like the dang tomb ships potentially can. I gotta be ready to turn as well, maybe. They're spraying up the Novacans some, but that doesn't do me much favors yet. And I do have the Scarab Swarm to help some. I just gotta get closer for that regeneration. So that's falling apart relatively well. I again want to regenerate the health on this thing, but not helping very well when I can't move. Yeah, this is awkward, but I at least have extra abilities to regenerate the health some. I just gotta make sure this thing gets its regeneration too, with that said. And let's okay, there we go. It is regenerating health some. And it's doing a number on that one cruiser.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So I can't say anything bad about that just yet. I just kind of wished I had spread out the damage potential. Spread out the fighters a little bit, because this may be a bit overkill. And we're not dealing with armor piercing. Didn't I just jump with you? I do need to watch for when that actually when the more Nova cans are coming, though. So that's a stasis bomb there. I'll wait until they're ready to jump in head first in this with the Nova cans. Because I got what repairs I could. The longer I could stall out the Nova cans, the better. The only downside with these light cruisers is that they only have a proud weapon arc. And I was kind of hoping... Oh well. I have 40 seconds until this recharges. Let me actually move, see if this thing can survive. Because this is possibly the worst case situation with fighters. Or at least with the Dominators. It's dealing with a bunch of them. Can I at least launch the fighters before? Well, actually... 6 seconds till I can launch the main fleet. Okay. At least this one opponent knows what they're doing to an extent, but... Let's kill off the one cruiser, I guess. We're about to have a recharge up. Just keep tanking the Novacan shots. I am losing my objectives, and I've been doing a horrible job with this, haven't I? Bad display, but the real test I'll be happy with if I can learn to tank these Novacan shots. Having the residual... Was it the gas cloud residual effect would be really helpful in this regard, though. I would argue, since it would help regenerate my durability some. That thing's gonna die really quickly. Fighters are still being regenerated, so we're gonna wait on them. It's just boosting, maybe ramming itself. That would be kind of nice. And I should be launching this trans-dimensional bolt too, I guess.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Maybe if I'm lucky enough, maybe I'm out of range. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? You have to turn your prow to me for that to even matter. I want to destroy this one cruiser. But this is the problem with the fighters, at least, is to how I have to commit to this. Come on, you can't fire your macro weapons, can you? Not yet there. So there's torpedoes, I don't care about that. What I'm more interested in is trying launching these fighters on you. Of course, the one that just launched the fighters is the one that's got bored to death, too. Come on, I'm waiting for your Novacans. You don't really have much going for you just at the moment. They're dealing with the Doom Scythes well. Only one of these cruisers actually lost their point defense is a bit of the problem right now. So I need to prioritize on the other ships for that to really matter a whole lot. And I don't want to jump just yet, although I can repair still. Let me actually move this. I'm going to lose by ejector just because of my lack of focus. This has not been a good day for me. But considering what we're up against, I still will be willing to consider this a success of sorts. All my fighters are getting shot down, though, which may be a good thing to an extent. Depending on how you look at it. Because, yeah, these ships aren't doing anything for me because they only have prow weaponry. They have to actually fly at the target to do damage. Star Pulse Generators means crap right now. And with these Defiants, this is working. Right now, we're just being metagames, essentially. To an extent. Since the Defiants and the one Cobra is there is just screwing over my fighters, to an extent. And we got hit by a Tesseract Bolt, which just bugged out and instantly killed off my ship. Funny enough. Now I want to keep the recharge going on this for obvious reasons, so it doesn't immediately die. You don't have spurs, let's keep that in mind. So I don't think I'm at risk just yet. We just lost the deck though, which this... As soon as this starts taking fire, I'll lose the deck. Good God. So all my close range power is basically gone to an extent. Keep the recharge going. And you actually could shoot for a change now. So let's try and get this to do the damage necessary. Actually, getting 4,500 your range. That would be helpful. Sadly, I burnt all my nano cloud just to survive, which actually would have been useful in this regard. So it's a little inconvenient. It's still a success of sorts due to the sheer amount of Nova cans, mind you. Just get moving. I don't know why you weren't moving beforehand, but I guess I'll take it. I don't have much of a choice in the matter. And I have no way to rally the ship due to the Nova cans I've been taking, so this sucks. Not a good day today. Like I said, this is as hard counter as you can potentially get. The Defiance had basically been keeping my fighters away from doing damage to the ships, as made apparent. So, and with the being stuck with the cooldown of the fighters, I couldn't quite mass a number of them pretty well. If I had launched the fighters at 2 separate cruisers, that could have actually worked well for me. I would have limit, or at least denied 2 of the cruisers their point defense, which might have been useful for later on. Might have. Well. I like to think it's a success of some sort, but again, this is as hard countered metagaming as you could probably get. So it was rough. And we still didn't have to worry with armor-piercing rounds either, so that doesn't do me much favors either. I'm not really satisfied though, but not much I can do, I suppose, at this point. Yeah, it hasn't quite unlocked the armor-piercing ammo anyway. Well. We'll try and figure this out.